Okay, so this one is going to be about a specific homebrew subclass, but I guess I'll talk about them in general. So, in our games, we tend to use a decent amount of homebrew stuff. You know, we look it over, we think about it, like, okay, is this worth using? Is this good? And in our Dragonlance game, one of the players found a homebrew subclass for Barbarian called the Cannoneer. And the whole idea behind this subclass is that you use a big cannon as a weapon. There's some rules for cannons themselves, like handheld cannons, and kind of like the whole. It's a two-page document, and half of it is just details about cannons. And it's pretty good. Like there's a lot of detail and a lot of thought, but there's some missing implications. So first off, I'll describe this subclass real quick. So first, you at initially at level 3, you get 2 features. And technically, this subclass never explicitly gives you proficiency in cannons, which is hilarious. Pretty basic stuff, man. It's implied, but that's the thing with rules like this. You have to explicitly give proficiency in cannons. Otherwise, you can't use it. Unless in the cannon write-up it says it's a martial weapon. I don't recall seeing that, but that's kind of the idea. So at level 3, you get 2 things. When you're raging, you get resistance to fire and thunder damage, which is both. The fire damage is important because cannons can blow up on you, and they will. Thunder damage is really just kind of thematic, and it's a good resistance to have, but it's just kind of there. Like you as the cannoneer don't have anything that will do thunder damage, and especially not thunder damage to yourself, like with the fire damage. And then you also get the ability to make you get the ability to reload as a bonus action, which is good. You need to be able to reload, because otherwise it's a full action to reload, which would mean the cannon is not worth it to use. And then you also get a reckless repair ability, which the way the cannons work is every time you fire one, the misfire score goes up as debris builds up inside the cannon. Soot and stuff. So your first shot, the misfire score is 1. Second shot, the misfire score is 5, 10, 15, and then 20. Which, it being at 20 is really funny, because after 3 shots, your cannon is guaranteed to blow up. Even if you roll a crit. Come on. That's a little goofy, and I did see a revision of it later that made it so on the 4th shot, your misfire score is now 19 instead of 20. So, something. But, neither here nor there. So, when you roll under your misfire score, that means your cannon explodes. And in a 10-foot radius, you do the cannon's damage dice in D10s, or number of damage dice in D10s fire damage around you, including yourself. Make a con save to succeed, blah, blah, blah. Or to take half damage. And this is kind of one of the, cornerstones of the class. This feature, with the way the reload works, or at least, before you get extra attack, it seems like you want to use the cannon at long range because it's a ranged weapon, and it does really good damage if you can get at least a tier 2 500-pound cannon, because then it'll do 2d10 plus your strength in damage. That's really good. But there's some other problems with it. So then at level 6, you get a feature called Bigger Gun, Bigger Boom. Your weight capacity doubles, and it is a separate doubling from like Powerful Build, which is kind of how you want to build this class. Like, it really wants you to either start like as an Orc or a Goliath or something with Powerful Build, or petition your DM to allow you to use the UA Brawny feat, which is what I'm doing when I'm going to play one of these coming up. And then I think that's you. I think you get some other minor. Oh, you get the ability to ignore the close range. Like, you can fire the cannon at close range without disadvantage, basically, which is good. And that kind of creates a better loop, better gameplay loop with this class. Then at level 10, you get something. I forget what it is exactly. It's like, I forget exactly which the feature when you get there's two more features, level 10 and level 14. But there you get the ability to do a reckless repair check by smashing it into people. So when you make a melee attack, you can make a reckless repair check as part of that action. So when your cannon blows up, you can smack somebody with it, and you can then make a reckless repair check. And then at level, that's at level 10. And then at level 14, you get the ability to, as your misfire score goes up, you get extra damage dice, which is good. It's cool. It's fine, but it's going to blow up. And the whole extra damage dice, I think, is kind of where you would want to go with the design of this class, like building up heat in the cannon. Like, you see lots of games that use this kind of mechanic, like Monster Hunter's Gunlance used this as a mechanic for a little bit, and that was bad for other reasons, but the core design was solid. As you use the cannon, it heats up, and your cannon shots do more and more bonus damage until you hit some limit and it like explodes or overheats. Which, possibly overheating might be a better mechanic than it blowing up, but that's neither here nor there. So, real quick, also the design of the cannons is, as the cannons go up in weight, they go up in damage dice, and you have a few different shots you can use. Like, you've got a ricochet shot, a shrapnel shot, which is like a shotgun. You've got a chain shot, which is like two cannonballs connected with a chain, and then you've got a creature shot where you can load a creature into it. But the problem with the creature shot is you need an immensely heavy cannon to be able to do it, and you can't get that heavy of a cannon without like a wizard casting enlarge on you, or being a Duragar. And then you need to, like, theoretically, you could do it if you're a Duragar and you take the Brawny feat. But then, if you're, like, when you're enlarged, if you have like a 2,500 pound cannon, you can do all this extra huge damage dice and load creatures into it. How do you carry it around when you're not enlarged? Do you just have a cart that you put this cannon on and you just drive this cart around? Like, there's implications there. Or do you have like a portable hole that you just stow it in and that's the only thing in there? Because it's too big for a bag of holding. So, the way it works is the basic cannon is 250 pounds. And as the weight goes up, the damage and the range goes up. So that will do the 250 pound cannon, the tier 1, will do a single damage dice of damage. Then the tier 2, which is 500 pounds, does 2 damage dice. And then the tier 3, which is 1,000 pounds, does 3 damage dice. And it keeps going up and up in increments of 500 pounds. The only time it's 250 is from tier 1 to tier 2. The cannon can also be used for melee attacks, which, when you use it as a melee attack, it's treated as a two-handed heavy weapon, and it does half of the damage dice rounded down in d8s. So if you've got a 500 pound cannon that does 2 damage dice per shot, you'll do 1d8 in melee with it. and then that doesn't change up until the tier 4 cannon, which is 1,500 pounds. You'll do 2d8 in damage, which is mildly better than a greatsword. Good job, guys. And that's kind of the design of the class. Like, you're never really getting like a really strong melee weapon out of it. The best build I found for it is like have high strength, get powerful, like pick like Goliath for powerful build, take great weapon master, and then just, because as soon as you get extra attack, or we'll say before extra attack, the rotation is fine. You just fire the cannon, you reload it, that's your turn. But as soon as you get extra attack, that gets complicated, because now you've only got one reload per turn, basically, but you've got 2 attacks. So what do? Well, I guess you fire your cannon, and then for your first attack, bonus action reload, or you could do this at the end of your turn. Well, actually, on your first turn, you could fire 2 shots. You fire your shot, because it's already reloaded, or it's already loaded, and then you reload and you fire a second shot. But then, on your second turn, you don't have that. And this is also complicated because you got to spend a bonus action to rage in the first place. Because ideally you want to rage, but theoretically you don't have to first turn. So, especially if you're going to do it, if you're going to attack from range with the cannon. So your first turn, you can shoot your cannon, bonus action reload, fire your cannon again. And then the second turn, I guess you want to run in, rage, smash a dude twice. But then once you get the level 6 feature, I mean, actually, before level 6, you kind of want to fire your cannon until it's empty. Then you want to rage, and then pull out a great axe. Because it's going to be mechanically better. And you're not actually getting much for using the cannon in melee. And you can't reckless attack with it, so you're going to be firing at a disadvantage at close range. So it's really not effective. And the explosion damage from the misfire is actively a detriment if you're just trying to use it from range, because you're not going to hit anybody with it. You're just hitting yourself. So it's like you fire it once or twice until the misfire score builds up, and then you just pull out a great axe. But then once you get the level 6 feature, okay, it kind of works better now, because 1, you can fire it in melee without disadvantage, so at least you're rolling normally. So then the rotation becomes, you fire a cannon, either at long range or not, you reload the cannon, and then you smack a guy, and then in subsequent turns it becomes like, you reload the cannon, you fire it, and then you smack a guy. So the best build I found is powerful build race, take great weapon master. So your turns look like this. You run in, you're already raging, you fire the cannon for big damage, then you smack a guy, and then you reload the cannon, or whichever, or you reload the cannon, you fire it, you smack a guy with great weapon master. And then ideally you're sort of surrounded, or at least you've got like 2 or more enemies with you, so that when your cannon does eventually misfire, you deal extra damage with that explosion. And that damage is good. It's above, it's roughly above, it's pretty above Warlock baseline. Because you can get theoretically the 1,500 pound tier 4 cannon at level 6. Because, the other thing, you need a mithril cannon to do this, to have the weight, because otherwise you need the enlarge spell just to get to the tier 4 cannon. But if you get a mithril cannon, then it halves the weight. With powerful build and bigger gun, bigger boom, your carrying capacity becomes, I think, 1,200, roughly 1,400 at 20 strength. So that's something. But the problems with this class is the rotation of reloads. You can't properly use it at long range without other multi-class shenanigans. If you've got an artificer in your party, they can give you what is it, like auto reload on your weapon. Then yeah, go to town. You can just shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. Or if you have someone helping you, you can do that too. They can spend their whole action to reload your cannon for you to take your second shot. That's something. Or if you've got NPCs or a familiar or whatever, they still have to deal with the misfire explosions, so that's cool. But, you know, that's kind of the idea. There's like some problems with this class's rotation and the idea, and I definitely think the cannon design themselves is a problem. It's not great. Like and I might talk about that more specifically in another video. And I also want to be clear, I'm not shit talking the designer, the author of this class. I think it's a really, really flavorful concept, and that's why two of us have been inspired to play it and try to make it work. But, you know, I've got some notes on it. So that's all I got for you today.